Hello there, here with a different type of video today. I've not done one of these videos for a long time now. It's a ranking video, so in case you haven't heard, Oasis are back together. I don't know how you wouldn't have heard that by now, or why you'd be watching this video if you didn't know that, but they're back together. At the time of recording this, it's Wednesday. The tickets for the tour go on sale on Saturday. There's the pre-sale on Friday, but I don't think I'll see anything like the pre-sale access. I don't think many of us will get in that pre-sale, and tickets on Saturday. I mean, I'm dreading it. I'm absolutely dreading it. I'm sure I'm not the only one dreading it. I mean, I'm sure there'll be inevitable disappointment. But anyway, basically, since we're all twiddling our thumbs and waiting for the big day, I thought I'd rank the Oasis studio albums, all 7 of them, because apparently I've never done this. I thought I'd done this a long time ago, but yeah, apparently I haven't. Now, if you want to know what I think about these albums in more depth, I've done a review of each one of these albums a long time ago now, back when I was just a teenager. It'd be a good 7-8 years since I did most of these reviews, so go and watch them if you want. I'll pre-warn you, they're probably not very good, but then is this any good? But yeah, you'll hear more in depth about what I think of those albums, or at least what I thought of them at the time. I maybe think things completely different now. I haven't watched them videos for a very long time. Anyway, let's just dive in as we mean to go. Like I should say, this is my personal opinion. Obviously, you don't have to agree. We're all entitled to our opinion. I'm sure there will be some controversial choices on this list, although I'm sure you can all guess what the top 2 are going to be. But I always find with Oasis rankings, the more interesting thing is positions 3 to 7. So, shall we start? I think we should. Number 7, this will instantly trigger people. Be Here Now, 1997. So, first things first, this is not a bad album. I don't think personally Oasis made any bad albums. So, I'm not coming on here and saying this is a bad album. I just don't think personally it's as good as the rest. And I know a lot of people will think this is absolute insanity, because this is a 90s album. This was peak Oasis, but it's just not as strong as the other 6 albums, I'm afraid, in my opinion at least. I think Noel put it perfectly back in 2016, I think it was, when the 20th anniversary editions came out. Was it 20th anniversary editions? Whatever came out in 2016 anyway. When Noel went around saying this cover should have had printed on it, only listen to this the first 48 hours it came out. And he's probably right, because I mean, this album was huge when it came out. There's some great tracks on it as well, do you know what I mean? Although I think Noel's remix of that is far superior. Stand By Me is a classic. I really like The Girl in the Dirty Shirt. Title track Be Here Now is great. Don't Go Away is alright. All Around the World's good. So yeah, some good stuff on here. There is some not so good stuff. Don't really care for Fading Out or It's Getting Better Man or the reprise of All Around the World. But yeah, so yeah, that'd be number 7 for me, I would say. Be Here Now, like I say, it's not a bad album. My problem with it, it's too long. If I'm going to listen to an Oasis album, this is the one I'm going to reach for the least, because it's like 72 minutes long or something like that. I mean, I don't mind long songs, but not an entire album of long songs. For me, a good album length is 35 to 45 minutes, somewhere in that bracket. When it's getting to this sort of length, 72 minutes, I'm sorry, you've lost me. So that is number 7. Right, number 6, we are going with Standing on the Shoulder of Giants from 2000. I'll get this one out actually, because I love the cover of this album, of the Manhattan skyline. Although not anymore, because the Twin Towers are no longer there. This was a year before they came down. Anyway, this album, a lot of people will put this album last place. I personally really do enjoy this album. There's some great tracks on here. Go Let It Out, Who Feels Love, Gas Panic, Where Did It All Go Wrong, Roll It Over, all great tracks. Sunday Morning Call is also a great song, even though Noel hates it. My big problem with this album is Little James. I don't know why it went on this album, and it's, you know, it's obviously the first song Liam ever wrote. In my opinion, it should have been a B-side, and Let's All Make Believe should have gone on this album in its place, because Let's All Make Believe is a contender for the best Oasis song, and it's B-side to Go Let It Out. And it's just, you know, if it was on this album, it'd be the best track on the album. But I quite like this album as well. They're trying something a bit different here. They're going a bit more psychedelic, a bit more experimental with tracks like Who Feels Love. Who Feels Love is a very Beatles sounding track. I know Noel has said in the past that Go Let It Out is, in his opinion, the closest they came to sounding like the Beatles. I think Who Feels Love is closer to sounding like a Beatles track personally. But there we go. That would be my number 6. Standing on the Shoulder of Giants. Right, where are we up to? Number 5. Heath and Chemistry from 2002. Yeah, I and ah about this one because for a while I'd actually put this one in last place, but recently I found myself enjoying this album a lot more. Although I've got to say, if I had to rank Oasis album covers, last place. Awful cover. I mean, what were they thinking? What were they thinking with this cover? I'm not a creative expert when it comes to stuff like this, but if I was in charge of this, I'd have called the album The Hindu Times, would have been the name of the album, and I'd have done a cover somewhat similar to Sometime in New York City by John and Yoko. I think the idea of that, like a newspaper cover with the album called Hindu Times, would have been really good, personally. And, you know, they love the Beatles, they love to copy them, so there you go. But they didn't do that. Instead, they went for this boring cover, which I think was taken in the Moscow subway, if memory serves me correct. But nevertheless, there's some great tracks on here. The Hindu Times, Force of Nature, Stop Crying Your Heart Out, Songbird, She's Love, Born on a Different Cloud, great tracks. I've got to say though, the most overrated Oasis song is on this album, Little by Little. It's a song I've never been able to get into. I think it's a really bad recording on this album. I think Noel does it a lot better live. But yeah, I just think it's not a great song to begin with. So that's my number 5, Heath and Chemistry. Number 4, we're going with Don't Believe the Truth from 2005. At the time, this was seen as a sort of comeback album. Those 3 albums, in fact, they've all gone in order so far since Be Here Now. Those 3 albums were all seen as kind of a slump for Oasis, and then this was seen as a comeback at the time. And it's also very much a band album, this one. By this point, all the band are contributing songs, and they're all contributing pretty good songs. The standout tracks are still the Noel Penn songs, but, you know, Liam, Gem, Andy, they're also writing good songs. Turn Up the Sun, Mucky Fingers, Lila, Importance of Being Idle, Guess God Thinks I'm Able, Let There Be Love, some great songs on here. Importance of Being Idle is one of my favourite Oasis songs, I love it. And Lila as well, apparently that's the song that Noel misses playing live the most, so I imagine on the reunion tour, Lila will be in the set list. But yeah, Don't Believe the Truth, great album. So yeah, that's my number 4. Which leaves number 3, you've probably worked out what it is by now. Dig Out Your Soul from 2008, the final album. And they went out in style here. I think this is a really good album. I love it. It's one of the albums I listen to the most from Oasis. The first side of it as well is absolute brilliance through and through. Bag It Up, The Turning, Waiting for the Rapture, Shock of the Lightning, I'm Out of Time, Falling Down, they're all great tracks. High Horse Lady, I don't mind it, to be honest. It's after Falling Down where the wheels somewhat come off on this album. To Be Where There's Life is okay. Ain't Got Nothing's terrible. Nature of Reality, it's alright. Soldier On's really good. I really like Soldier On as the closing track, but in some ways it baffles me, this album, because at this point, you know, The Boy with the Blues, which was the Liam Penn song, should have gone on this album in my opinion. And probably Swollen Hand Blues, which was the B-side to, was it Shock of the Lightning or Falling Down? It was the B-side to. That probably should have gone on here. And Nature of Reality and Ain't Got Nothing should have gone as B-sides. Or the 2 songs that were intended for this album and never got recorded. Wanna Live in a Dream and Record Machine and Come On Outside. They could have gone on as well. But overall, the rest of the album, despite them weak tracks, it's a really strong one. And as the last album, they're going out in style here with this one. And it gives you a very good indication of the direction they were heading with Beady Eye and High Flying Birds. So, yeah, that will be my number 3. So, number 2. You obviously know what 2 are left by now. And ahh'd about which way to put these. And, yeah, I'm kind of satisfied with having it this way. Number 2 would be definitely Maybe. The debut from 1994, I mean, what is there to say about this album? It's an all-time classic. Yeah, it's a great, great album. It's probably the greatest debut album of all time. The only other contender I would think would be the Stone Roses debut. But Rock and Roll Star, Shaker Maker, Live Forever, Columbia, Sad Song, Supersonic, Cigarettes and Alcohol, Diggs' Dinner, Slide Away, Married with Children, some great stuff on here. The only song I don't really care for is Bring It On Down. I've never liked Bring It On Down, but otherwise the rest of the album, really, really strong. Yeah, as far as debut albums go, it doesn't get any better than this. Which leaves us with number 1. The observant ones amongst you would probably have actually worked out this was coming. What's the Story, Morning Glory from 1995, the third best-selling studio album of all time here in the UK, beaten only by Sgt. Pepper and I think it's an Adele album that's number 2. But yeah, I mean, it's a classic album. This, I think personally, it's better than Definitely Maybe, not by much, just by about that much, because I think the production is better on this album. The melodies are a bit better, especially on a song like Champagne Supernova. I mean, Champagne Supernova is just a brilliant song. But the entire album's really Hello, Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger. Some might say Cast No Shadow, She's Electric, Morning Glory, Champagne Supernova. The only song I don't really care for on this album is Roll With It, and even then I can't come in here and say it's a bad song. So yeah, I will put that at number 1. What's the Story, Morning Glory. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I would rank the Oasis albums. So please do let me know in the comments how you would rank them. I'm sure there'll be people who don't agree with me. There may be people who do agree. Let's have a nice discussion about what you think is the best Oasis album. Although I imagine for virtually everybody it's going to be Morning Glory or Definitely Maybe. I can't imagine any of the other albums coming top for people. But let's have a discussion anyway. So yeah, good luck if you're watching this before the tickets are gone on sale. Good luck everyone on Saturday. Although I hope I beat you all, because, you know, I've got to be there. But after that, I hope everyone else gets tickets after I've got them. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very soon on a future video. Goodbye.